ईरान और इसराइल के बीच जो है वो युद्ध में सीजफायर हो चुका है। हालांकि 12 दिनों तक दोनों देशों में बहुत बड़ा युद्ध चलता रहा। बीच में यूएस को आना पड़ा और यूएस ने दोनों देशों के बीच सीजफायर जो है वो घोषित किया है। इस पूरे मुद्दे पर बातचीत करने के लिए हमारे साथ इस समय इसराइल के काउंसिल जनरल कोबी शोशानी जी हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं। सर, you are claiming that you won the battle against the Iran, and Iran is claiming that they won the battle. In reality, who won the battle?
It's a good question. I have to tell you, Vivek, it doesn't matter who won. I think that what's happened is in the field is the most important. And right now, if you put the damage that was happened in the civil areas in Israel, and in front of that, you will see what's happened to the Iranian facilities, the reactors and the plants, and definitely the military commanders. You have to decide by yourself who won the war, but it's not a question of who won the war. The question is what is the message that you send to the world? What's going to be happen now? Who won the war is not important. I think that Israel showed fantastic result in this operation. When I say fantastic, I think it's outstanding result by intelligence, by military. You know, to make a fight 2,000 kilometers and more from home, it's a big challenge. It costs money. You need intelligence. You need to be in the air all the time, and to bring the missile into the right place. They did something completely easy. They sent rockets to populated areas, and you can see the damage. You can see the damage in Tel Aviv. Okay, they succeeded to destroy 20, 30, 40 buildings and make a damage in Israel. Okay, so what?
So from your side is the Operation Rising Lion. What do you mean by the Rising Lion?
It's actually a sentence from the Bible, and it showed the strength of the Jewish people, which lion is connected to that. That lion not worried never ever. This is part from the Israeli tradition, the Israeli history. I think it's very connected to the Jewish people. The sentence, and I think that it was a fantastic name, by the way. In Hebrew, it sounds very, very good.
Okay. So Iran is saying that you provoke Iran, you hit their nuclear site first, then Iran retaliate on your side.
The answer is yes. I mean, by fact, that's true. We started the Operation Rising Lion as a surprise. After 20 years, that morning and evening, the Iranian regime quoted and declared in a very open way, and I tell you the truth, I believe them, that they are going to eliminate the state of Israel. When they have the will and they have the capability, this is something that endangers the Jewish state, and that's exactly what we did.
Okay. Do you have a specific input or specific intelligence that Iran will hit you by the nuclear weapons or atomic weapon? That's why you targeted the nuclear sites?
I think being Iran has a nuclear capability is a risk not only to Israel, it's the risk to the Middle East, and I think more than that, to Europe and other countries in Asia. It's a risk to the world, but definitely to Israel itself. We will not accept a nuclear Iran, never ever. In our eyes, is right now on Iran that they will not renew and to rehabilitate the plans.
Okay. Do you have a specific intelligence info from your side that Iran will attack Israel with the nuclear weapons or atomic side, or US have a specific info about this?
No, I think that Israel made it very clear. You know, right now Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, but it was in a stage that it's going to have a nuclear weapon was very, very short. The enrichment of uranium was 60%, level of 60%, and to move into a military capability, which is 90%, is a very short process. And they have the missiles, they have the technology, and they have the enrichment. Then all this combination of these three elements make it a risk to have a nuclear, and afterwards nobody knows what's going to have. And it was the last moment that we had to do it. And I think our Prime Minister make it very, very clear, and I think also our military forces make it very, very clear.
Okay. Mr. Kobbi, this is a very important question. Most of the countries, most of the world want to know that is Israel have a nuclear power? Is Israel have an ant power?
I think that we make it very, very clear. I know we want to live in the Middle East, and I think that we'll not use or will not introduce such a capability in the Middle East. Definitely will not be the first one to do so. But what we saw in Iran is the opposite. They want a military capability, and they have a will to destroy the state of Israel. Then this combination is the worst in our point of view. We'd like to live in the Middle East. We'd like to live peacefully in the Middle East. We'd like to live without a nuclear threat over our state.
Did Israel have a nuclear power?
I tell you frankly, I don't know, and I think that Israel made it very, very clear.
Okay. So what is the role of U.S. President Donald Trump in the ceasefire between Iran and Israel?
I think that definitely the American played a very important role, and I think President Trump, and I would like to thank him for that, he was playing a role, first of all, in the military field, and I think that our Prime Minister made it very, very clear, strength and peace. In the Middle East, you cannot make a peace without a strength, and I think that we introduced a strength in Iran, we introduced a strength in Lebanon towards Hezbollah, and definitely in Gaza. I think in the Middle East, everybody understands that Israel has a power and it's unbeatable. President Trump, of course, helped us in this operation in a very significant way. We would like, again, to thank him for that. But definitely he has a very crucial job in making a peace and bring peace and this ceasefire. And I hope the peace process in the Middle East. I have to tell you something, Vivek, and I truly believe in that. I think that there is a dramatic change in the Middle East because of this operation. And I hope that very, very soon we'll see the result of this operation in a peaceful meaning. You'll see a completely different Middle East in a very short time.
Okay, what do you mean by this to a different Middle East?
Peace process, prosperity, connections, transportation, tourism, production. I think instead of investing in a military capability, investing in our own people, instead of investing in nuclear capabilities or other military elements, it's better to build something to the world. And I think that the IMEC, the idea of your Prime Minister Modi ji and Trump to open a line from India towards the United States is part of the idea. The idea that instead of making a war, let's make a peace. Let's make, sorry to say, money. Let's bring economy for the benefit of the entire region.
Okay. So there's one issue. When the ceasefire is signed between Iran and Israel, Donald Trump's not happy. The ceasefire violation from your side and from the Iranian side also.
If you don't mind, just again the question.
So the ceasefire violation from your side, after the ceasefire, the US President Donald Trump was not happy. They are saying that he's not happy with Israel also and the Iranian also about the ceasefire violation.
You know, when there is such collaboration and cooperation and understanding between the two leaders, I'm talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu and Donald Trump, the President of the United States, you have to listen to them. And Iran violated the ceasefire this way or another, as far as I know. But when President Trump asked us to bring back the pilots after to retaliate about the violation, we did it in respect to the president, and I think that that was the right thing to do.
Okay, who broke the ceasefire violation first, you or Iran?
No, we didn't broke the ceasefire. We are a very organized country. The Iranians say that it was not them. I personally don't believe them. Anyway, it was a damage, and it was a heavily damage in Israel because of these rockets towards Israel after the ceasefire was announced. And I think that in this case I blame the Iranian, but it's not important. If it's going to be here or there, the result is that right now we have a ceasefire and we are moving forward to an agreement, nuclear agreement, an understanding between the United States and Iran to understand that Iran will not have a nuclear capability of enrichment, plutonium, and other elements.
Okay. So if we're talking about the casualties, how many casualties from your side, and what do you think how many casualties from the Iran side?
I tell you frankly, Iran is, I don't have the numbers of Iran, but definitely it was a damage and casualties in Israel. The damage is not just a verbal word. You can see, and I spoke to our friends in Israel, you can see the damage in the streets of Tel Aviv and Beersheba. My daughter, she lives in Beersheba, she saw the damage by the eyes. You can see building that was heated. Some of them collapsed. Also in Tel Aviv, also in other cities, in Haifa, in other cities. Then it's a very heavy damage. By casualties, we have some dozen of, I think, more than 30, around between 30 to 40. I don't have the right number with me.
Okay.
But definitely the damage was very, very heavily in Israel. We have to right now to build new buildings for the people. We have to bring them into temporary places, hotels and other apartments. That's the role of the government. I think they do it quite well. And we are going to build, the damage that the Iranians make for our cities.
Okay, so last question. What is the current situation of Israel? Is everything is fine? Everything is okay?
I think that Israel recovering from this 12 days war, rising lion, and definitely it was not an easy time in Israel to be under attack with such a massive missiles and bombs over the cities was traumatic to some of the Israeli citizens. Now we are recovering. Everything is open. Schools are open. Airport is open. And we would like to revive and come back to normality as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Vivi.
तो ये थे हमारे साथ इसराइल के काउंसिल जनरल कोबी शोशानी जो बता रहे हैं कि हालात जो हैं वो इसराइल में सुधर रहे हैं. कोई डैमेज काफी ज्यादा बिल्डिंग्स जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो काफी ज्यादा डैमेज हुआ था, उसको नॉर्मल होने में थोड़ा सा समय लग सकता है. लेकिन फिलहाल इसराइल में सारे स्कूल, ऑफिसेज सब कुछ खुल चुके हैं. नॉर्मलाइज जो नॉर्मल होने की जो सिचुएशन है वो धीरे धीरे शुरू हो चुकी है और कोशिश की जा रही है कि जल्द से जल्द जो इसराइल में जो 12 दिन का जो युद्ध चल रहा था ईरान और इसराइल के बीच में खत्म होने के बाद जो जिंदगी है वो फिर से पटरी पे लौट आए. मुंबई से कैमरामैन राजेश सापे के साथ विवेक गुप्ता, न्यूज 18 इंडिया.